Okay, video production pipeline part one, or I should say video editing pipeline part one. Picking up off video number one, I just left off with Claude, and I wrote create a markdown file as an overall PRD product requirement document I can use in VS Code for this project. Technically, it's more a technical specification than a PRD, but I'm kind of just using PRD now because technical and product are combining. We're going to code in here. So I've got a couple of things in here. Here is that PRD. It's just copied in. I've just given it a quick skim through. It's okay. I'm not actually too stressed about whether it's right or not and whether I want to change it, because the key thing is it's going to spit out lots of different scripts. So my expectation is these are going to be able to be run in isolation. Architectural principles, atomic scripts. Each step is a single Python script with a clean interface. Takes workspace path as input, writes output to workspace, returns success or error. I might just tweet that. Takes workspace path or file as input, writes output to workspace. That's fine. So this is the PRD, and then I'd already created this script folder, and Claude just coincidentally has already given a kind of has given a folder structure for how this is going to get created. So I'm like, cool, I'll just match that, and then it's gonna be easy. One thing I know it's going to need is an OpenAI key. I've got that in there. I'm obviously not going to open that live on screen. I know later on it's going to create a YAML file where these things are going to go in. Don't remember talking about Anthropic being in there, but fine, we'll get an Anthropic key as well. And then here I've got a test video, so I'm going to show you this test video real quick on what's in this. So I recorded this earlier, and it's short, right? So it's going to run quick, but the key thing is in this is like I'm talking and there's a few gaps of silence. And so this is what I want to use to have this quickly detect the silence and see if it can trim it okay. So I won't bother playing this back now. We'll look at it once the trimming's kind of done. So kind of ready to go. I've just installed Claude Code. As I mentioned in the first video, I just set up this account. So VS Code has got nothing in it bar the Claude Code extension for VS Code, and I've got no VS Code extension set up yet, so that's all stuff I need to do. Someone's going to ask, why don't you use Claude Code in the terminal? I actually find it easier to just work with the IDEs, especially because what I do a lot of the time is I paste images in and files. So I find the UI tool a little bit easier to use in the terminal for that. And I kind of like everything in just one go. Like I've got a terminal down here. I haven't even got ZSH set up, Bash or anything correctly. So that's all stuff I need to do, bring that stuff over from the other account. But this isn't much dissimilar from how I normally code. So how do we get going? We got a PRD. Sometimes I'll create the PRD in VS Code through Claude Code. So Claude Code can create a PRD and chat through that just as well as the desktop app. But once I've got that doc, what I'll then do is come in here and we'll get to work. Just as an aside, like what I do when I'm working on code is start with a PRD like this, and then obviously you add features. So each feature I add, I write another PRD. So I have a top level folder where I have this kind of naming convention, one feature, add video, whatever, and then I write what I want. So I write a PRD or dictate it, and then I kick it off in this way. So I like to keep kind of a written record of what I wanted. Especially because a lot of the time I'm writing multiple PRDs. It is now the main constraint. The coding is not the constraint. It's being able to articulate quick enough what I want and have those in a place where it's ready to go. I like having them in the code base. I'm not tracking them anywhere else, like in a Kanban or something. It's kind of useful to have them in the code base. So I'm going to one-shot this. So I'm going to go to Claude and go, hey, just build the whole thing. Hopefully it builds the silence detection early on, and then we can use that while it's still cooking the rest. But it may not. We'll have to see what happens. VS Code extension for Claude Code. You got this button, which I find a little cumbersome. So that'll switch it between plan mode, ask before edits, edit automatically. I'm going to YOLO it. So I'm just going to go. We've got the PRD. I don't need to review it. It's got the context. So that's the other thing I like about the IDE version of both Claude Code and GitHub Copilot. I don't have to muck around with like, oh, where's the path to the file? Whatever you've got in your editor, I've only got one file. Let's get that up. You can see like whichever one I'm active on, it's going to add it to context. So that just makes life easy, because then if I've got it open here, I can just come in here and whoa, let's see how it's got 2 lines selected. Don't want to do that. Want the whole document. Click off that. Make sure there's not a selection. It's got that, and then I'm going to go whisper, implement this requirement. That's it. Go. And then hopefully Claude gets to work. First time I've run Claude on this account, so yeah, it seems to be going okay. Now, while it's having a think, I'm wondering about FFmpeg. So what this is going to need to do is know the location of FFmpeg. I suspect it will figure out automatically. Interesting, it's already printed my OpenAI key. So great, that's already leaked. It's truncated, so if you're watching this thinking, I'm going to steal Chris's OpenAI key, what I'm doing with my keys is I'm creating burner keys. So like literally this is named burner key in OpenAI. So as soon as this video is over, I'm going to kill this one. A, because I've shown it on YouTube, and B, because Claude has just sucked it up, because it's a competitor key and they want to sniff around on my OpenAI account. Also interesting that it's gone to the video as well. I've realized why it's read the OpenAI key. I've made a mistake. I haven't set this up as a Git repository yet, which is also crucial. So while Claude's thinking, let's do that. I'll do gitignore down here. That's now a Git folder, and then I can pop in a gitignore and do .env. So this is what I should have done at the start. So by doing that, you can see how .env's now gone gray in the folder explorer here in VS Code. So if you do that, like I've only seen one instance where an agent, and I don't know whether it was GitHub CLI or whether it was Claude Code, read an M file, because technically they're not supposed to. But this is where I'm like, the practice of using burner keys I think is important, as in create a key, name it something like burner key, wipe it out every week or after you've published it on YouTube, and then you're not going to get in trouble. It's separate from production keys. This is the kind of thing that vibe coders are just not going to know about, because they're not used to secure standards of software development. So I'm sure there's plenty of folks who are using the same key for development that they've got in production. Funnily enough, little story as an aside, I was looking at a Chrome extension and I thought, oh, this is cool, I wonder how this works. Downloaded the Chrome extension. They're easy to extract. They're just laying off your hard drive. Hadn't even minified the code, so all his code was laying there, and his username and password to his admin account was in the source code. I should drop the dude a line, actually. I'd completely forgotten about it. But yeah, there you go. There's some seriously sloppy code being developed out there. Right, so Claude's had a little thing. Update to-dos. So it's smashed out to-dos for all the scripts. Then it wants to create directories. I'm going to go, yeah, do the lot. Whoa, yeah, that's done the right thing. So it's done that directory structure here. It obviously didn't do scripts because that was already there. Update to-dos, number 1 done. where was I? So we fixed our little env problem. Another thing with Git. Let me stay on Git. I was using GitHub CLI at first. It's actually cheaper, so you can use Anthropic's models. So I had like Sonnet 4, 4.5 until I switched to Claude Code. And its running costs are cheaper, and then they've got an overage fee. Same as Claude does, unless you like go to max. And I have to say, I think I prefer it. I got Claude because I was like, I prefer the chat to ChatGPT. Obviously, I think it's better. And I kind of wanted to mess around with co-work as well, which I haven't even done yet. But that's why I switched. I'm tempted to switch back to GitHub Copilot. I don't know. I need to play around with Claude Code a little bit more and see what I think of it. But let me go back to the reason Git's important. So what happens a lot of the time is AI just goes wrong. And what I mean by wrong is it doesn't implement what you asked. And the bigger your code base is, the harder it is to detect what it's implemented. GitHub had kind of done a nice feature where whenever their GitHub Copilot CLI, I keep saying CLI, whenever the GitHub Copilot, which is this thing, by the way, just chats this, whenever that makes changes, it gives a diff. So it shows you, like in the code, oh, these lines were changed, this is what it was before, this is what it's after. Now, that's exactly the same as like looking at Git differences. But it's like it adds it on top of Git. So if someone's not using Git source control, it's useful for them to see, hang on, what's changed. But if you're using Git, you really don't need that. So to me, it was like an extra layer. So I turned it off. But the other thing with using Git is like every change that a coding agent does, you can commit it, and then you've got the changes in isolation. So it's easier to review the commits and see, okay, what did it do? What did it do here? I can cherry pick commits, move to different branches. I've done that. So I think Git's really fundamental. Like as soon as this finishes V1 of these scripts, I'll do a commit, and that'll be like the first commit to this repository. And then we'll go through one by one, start looking at these scripts and going, no, that's wrong, that doesn't work. And it's just going to be an iterative process of going, hey, the process footage script doesn't work, it'll fix bugs, we'll do commits for the fixes, and then just build up a commit history. Any software engineering shop, and by shop I mean team, is working with Git or source control workflows where you've got a team of multiple people, and this could be a team of AI agents working on different things in parallel. So I may be working on a UI feature, you may be working on a back-end feature, someone may be working on bug fixes, and all those changes are potentially going to touch the same code. So how do you manage that? So there's different workflows you can do in Git. I think most places these days would do the concept of a feature branch. So every new thing you work on, you create a feature branch, you work in isolation on that branch, and then once it's ready to go, you push your branch up to whatever your source control platform is, GitHub, Bitbucket, etc., and you have your peers review it, or you have AI review it, and then you'll get feedback on it, and someone will go, this is bad, this doesn't do what the product manager wanted, or there's a security problem, and you continue working on it and continue fixing your bugs until everyone's happy. And then you merge that feature branch into your kind of main or master branch. That's the way the software development world has kind of been operating. That's not going to change with agents. If you've got agents working on the same thing, they're going to want to work on a feature branch. Git worktrees is another way you can do it. Worktrees are a little bit more powerful, I suppose, and especially with agents, because they can completely wreck a code base and install things that would break another agent trying to do things on a different branch. Worktrees just isolate. So all this is to say there's ways of combining code. Now, because I'm working in isolation and because I'm not yet in I've got 4 agents coding things at the same time state, I'm just staying on the same branch. So I'm just doing commits. As soon as I see something working, I'm doing a commit on it and I move on. A couple of times on some of the products I'm building for myself, I've done a branch where I'm like, okay, I'm going to build something. It's really going to go off the rails. There's a chance it could be completely wrong, may not work. It's going to install a load of dependencies I don't want to have to back out later. So by creating a branch, it can be throwaway, and I've not just added more commits on the main branch and made it messy. So that's also a reason to use branches to do development. So I think just Git basics is well worth learning for vibe coders. It's just good software engineering practices. A lot of folks are espousing, oh, you don't need any of that, just tell AI what you want, it will do it. And I'm like, it's not reality. Like, once you get big software, and by big I mean, maybe 50,000 lines of code, which is, AI can do 50,000 lines of code in a week, but then you got a management problem, because suddenly you're just managing 50,000 lines of code. You can't remember what it all does. How do you manage that? How do you track that? So all the stuff we've done in software development for years, these Git workflows, feature branches, unit tests, integration tests, actually make all that stuff easier and make it easier for AI to manage as well. What I haven't got in this, because it is a bit of vibe coding, I'm just smashing out proof of concept, is it going to work, is instructions for an agent, in this case Claude Code, to tell it how to operate. What I mean by that is it going to just work and change things without intervention, or is it going to stop when it makes mistakes or encounters a problem? So I'll talk about that in another video, because it looks like we are coming to an end of Claude's efforts here, and I want to look at some of the code. This code wants me to install Python. I'll do that later. I will want it. I'm just scared of doing it while this is in flight and it taking 20 minutes. Let's go straight into scripts. Detect silence. So what's this going to do? Find all silence timestamps using FFmpeg silence detect field. Yeah, I want to run this one immediately. What is process footage? Extract and clean audio on a single FFmpeg pass. So that's going to do the audio. So I don't need to run that. And I've kind of realized I don't need this, because OBS Studio that I'm using to screen record actually does this when I record. I still may run this. What's this trying to do? Test common module imports. Okay, so it wants to do some little testing on what it's created. Cool, have at it. What's this going to do? It's going to go Python 3. It's going to create a Python environment. It's going to do a pip install on the requirements. Those are there. So it's going to install OpenAI, Anthropic, Python YAML, Python.env. So it's going to pick up my .env file. Cool. Yep, go for that. See how long that takes. Let's go back to that detect silence script. Run config job ID input file. Okay, so it kind of wants this job ID concept that it's created, but let's see. There's a README. Maybe that's got FFmpeg. So this is what I said at the start. Like, I wonder how it will detect for FFmpeg. So that's going to go, hey, has this dude actually got FFmpeg? FFmpeg not found. I wonder whether that's because I've got it under the other account on the laptop. Now it's going to hopefully install it. Let me also fix a minor bug. Yeah, go for it. Let me look at the README. Yeah. Add API keys. Run the full pipeline. Rerunning steps. Interesting. Adding bumpers. So, yeah, okay. Interesting. Now verify final module load works. Boom, done. How long have I been talking? I don't know, but we have got, in the space of 20 minutes, in theory, the whole thing. Now, this won't work. There'll be tons of bugs in this, so depending on how gnarly bugs are and things, this could be another 20, 30, 40 minutes of me effing around. And then I think the bigger problem than, okay, fixing bugs is, oh, this bit just doesn't do what I wanted it to, or some of these concepts like the silence detection just will not work. So I need FFmpeg. Like, we're going to have to do that. So let's get that going. I'm not going to worry about the Anthropic API key. What's going on here? Whoa. Oh, come on. Oh, okay. The reason this isn't working is because I've made this account an admin, but I haven't rebooted it yet, and I need to reboot for this to get proper admin permission. Looks like I can just run these. So let's do another terminal. So let's see if that works. Cool. Password. Run that one. Go. Password again, presumably. It's done. And then what's that saying? Alright, let's see if we can do FFmpeg. Having done that, yep, that worked. Cool, didn't have to reboot. Downloads FFmpeg. And then while that's doing that, give me a script. Give me a terminal command I can run to test the detect silence script. Screen reader usage is detected. Do you want to enable? No, go away. Run to detect the silence script in isolation with the auto trim test video. So what I'm asking it to do is go, just give me the script to run detect silence against auto trim test. FFmpeg's installed. Let's send that. Notice as well in VS Code, it's got that little context usage pie chart, which tends to make me more anxious than not. I don't know why. I perceive usage context as the quality of the answers is going to degrade. So another thing, like, you got all the slash commands like Claude Code has, so you can, you know, do all that stuff. I know plenty of developers don't like this, but I'm okay with it. All right, look at that. So what's it? Yep, we've done FFmpeg. Let's see if this works. And this will be the end of the video, or we're going to be in bug hell. Paste that in. Source, no such file or directory. Did we do an install? Let's go, yeah. Not in the right place. Video editing agent. Yeah, I got to do all of that. Hang on, it did all that. Okay, let's try that script again. Get rid of this. It's doing something. Wow. Found 23 silent segments. 20.3 seconds total. Step 3 complete. Interesting. 23. Start end. So I'm assuming... Is this seconds? How long's the video? Oh. There's the video. Yeah, so it's 1 minute 07 in length. So this will be seconds. So like half a second at the start of dead air. And then it's got all these little trims. So what I'll get this to do, if it doesn't do this automatically, is go, don't bother trimming anything like maybe under half a second. Because I think that'll be too severe. And any really long silences, I think it's going to be worth giving it kind of a little gap. You know, just a bit of padding. Because otherwise, like, if it's just trimming all silence out of the video, it's just going to be a fire hose of speech. And sometimes you want the silence, the cadences. So we'll see how this goes. But yeah, this is, I think I'm going to call it on this video for here. So this is really part 1 of the build. It in theory has got each of the scripts here, but I want to go through each one by one, test they work, see whether they're doing what I want them to, and then we'll tweak as we go, and see whether we can build this kind of full output. See you in the next part.